I'm here in Washington Square Park, the heart of Greenwich Village, a neighborhood famous for making a home for countless extremely talented artists over the years. People like Jimi Hendrix, Simon and Garfunkel, and the Olsen twins. No resident, present or past, of Greenwich Village is as famous, however, as Bob Dylan, who made a home here in the 1960s. Today, we're going to take a tour of Bob Dylan's Greenwich Village. Let's go. In 1961, when Robert Zimmerman first arrived in New York from Hibbing, Minnesota, he stayed at the Hotel Earl, which is today the Washington Square Hotel. He also stayed here in room 305 with Joan Baez, his girlfriend, for a very special night that Joan Baez actually commemorated in her song, Diamonds and Rust. If I had a nickel for every time a talented woman wrote a song about me, I would have $0.
Now you're smiling out the window of that crummy hotel over Washington Square.
Eleanor Roosevelt lived here after FDR died. No big deal. I'm here at the corner of Minetta and MacDougal, which is where Bob Dylan first played when he arrived in New York. He played a bunch of Woody Guthrie covers. He eventually got a gig here playing harmonica for $1 a day for Fred Neil, who ran the open mic here, where people like Joan Rivers and Woody Allen would come and perform. You may know Fred Neil as the eventual writer of the song Everybody's Talking. You know that song? It's like, everybody's talking at me, I can't hear a word they're saying, only the echoes of their eyes. It's pretty good, right?
Everybody's talking at me.
I'm at 161 West 4th Street, which is the site of the first apartment that Bob Dylan ever got for himself and his girlfriend, Susie Rotolo. You may recognize Susie Rotolo from this very famous picture. I'm here on Jones Street, which is where the picture for Bob Dylan's second studio album was taken. The album was Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and it's the album that made him famous, with hits like Blowin' in the Wind, Masters of War, and A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. This neighborhood is very expensive today, and if you're wondering how any starving artist can afford to live here today, well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Oh boy. I'm here at 94 MacDougal Street, which is where Bob Dylan lived when he returned from his exile in Woodstock, New York. He was way too famous to be living here at that point, so people would go through his trash, they'd gather outside his house. So he eventually, after a couple years, moved to California for some peace and quiet. But it was while he was living here that his son Jacob was born to him. You may know Jacob as the eventual frontman to the Wallflowers, who had the 1996 hits One Headlight and 6th Avenue Heartache. Man, that takes me back to high school. I mean, to kindergarten. It takes me back to kindergarten. I'm young. I'm very young.
6th Avenue Heartache.
I'm here at the bitter end on Bleecker Street, which is famous for giving musicians like Neil Diamond, Jackson Browne, and Joni Mitchell their start. It's here where Bob Dylan chose to kick off his 1975 Rolling Thunder Revue tour, famous for giving some of the most frenzied and energetic performances of his career. The secret to the energy of those performances? Cocaine. Lots and lots of cocaine. Bob Dylan represents the quintessential New Yorker in many ways. He came here from somewhere else, committed himself to learning from the people around him, reinvented himself completely, and dreamed very big. New York has never been a place that people come to merely to exist. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to change music or just work as a lawyer. The pace of New York has a funny way of demanding ambition from its citizens. Otherwise, life here can be pretty tiring. So who will be the next Bob Dylan? I know that wasn't Bob Dylan, but it's a good song.